Hey guys, and welcome to another video. I know it's been a while. In this video, we're making our long haul all the way to Oregon. So we stopped and got the horses out. We actually found this rodeo arena that we could turn them out in. They both drank really well, kind of shocking because Dakota sometimes isn't the best drinker. Chester had to check it out to make sure that water wasn't better than his. And then they really stretched out. Obviously, this rodeo arena isn't used too much, so they were grazing. They got some good rolls. You can see that puddle behind Chester. He chose to drink out of that instead of his nice, clean, fresh water. So don't really understand that, but that was his choice. He got a good roll, scratched, and of course got covered in dirt. That night we were in Kansas, and my run before this on Dakota was not very good, so I worked on getting him softened up a little bit. Not my strong suit, but I'm definitely learning. I made him bend, flex, stop, back up, and I did make him kind of trot more on the bit. This is not his favorite thing, but it is important. I don't always ride him like this. I don't ride in split reins very often on him. He usually trots with his head kind of up, and then I'll ask for him to be collected, but this night I put my split reins on and tried to really get him on the bit and moving really nice and just really listening to me, stretching out good. It had been a haul, so I didn't ride him for super long, but you can see I'm trotting him around. I trotted him in some small circles. I trotted around the rail. There I'm petting him before I asked for a lope, and here I am also asking him to be on the bit. Again, not his favorite thing. Chester's a lot easier to get him collected, but Dakota was doing good. He looked pretty. There I kind of rolled back and immediately loped off, and he did good. Still just trying to keep him collected and keeping nice contact with him so he would be, again, more on the bit, a little bit softer, listening really well. Here I loped up the rail instead of small circles. When I stopped, I backed him up. I did pet on him, but I don't have a video of it, and I walked him out. This is the next day. When we got to Idaho, I decided to make a little practice breeze on him. He tripped a little at the first barrel, which scared me, but after that we were good. I wasn't asking him to go, full out, especially after that trip, so I kind of held him up, which makes him a little mad, but it was a really nice breeze through. It was very pretty here. Here I'm petting on him because he did really, really well in that breeze through, and then I'm gonna walk him out, and he did actually have an audience for this ride. Now we have made it to Sisters, Oregon, and it is time for our run, so let's tack up. The first thing I did was brush him, but I don't have a video. I threw on my saddle pad, and now it's time for my saddle, and of course it knocked like everything out of my tack room when I got it. My saddle is very light, so I throw it up very gently on their backs. It doesn't slam. It's only like 16 pounds, I would say, so it's pretty easy to throw up there and not slam it down on their back. Even when I have a heavy saddle, I'm very careful not to just slam it down on their backs because that does not feel very good. I'm going to get his front and back cinch done. I ride all my horses in a back cinch, so once those cinches were done, I pulled my stirrup down and got my breast collar on, making sure it wasn't too tight or too loose. And once it was in the right spot, I'm going to clip it to my cinch and move on to my boots. He's running in these designer sports boots today, so I'm going to get those on, make sure they're exactly where they need to be. I do usually brush his legs off too before I put on boots. There's a little look at Chester, who is there for emotional support, and you can see kind of how staticky Dakota's tail was. It's very different up here in the Northwest. So I'm just going to keep on with those boots. I ride all my horses in front and back boots. I want to make sure they're fully supported and protected during their runs. So I'm making sure they're in the right spot, everything is laying how it's supposed to, and that I don't accidentally put front boots on the back or anything like that. Here I'm putting on the matching bell boots, and of course he gets his nice little drink of Dr. Pepper before his run. I am not gonna lie, I was terrified. It's a side gate, and it's a really, really long way to that first barrel, and the rule said that we had to just turn and run. We couldn't walk up any further. And so I sat too soon, which he didn't love, kind of stepped off the first, had to move him over for the second, and here we had some ground trouble. I think only 2 people out of all the slack ended up placing. So the ground was not very good. There we just had a miscommunication, and I did push him past the timer. Once we were done with that run, we drove to Idaho a few days later, and it was time for our run in Eagle, Idaho. So I'm getting him tacked up, again, brushing him. Here you can see me brushing his legs, and I'm going to get tacked up again. So, of course, I throw on my 5-star saddle pad and then my master saddle. Make sure that's sitting exactly where I want it to be before I do those cinches, and I don't cinch him up too tight before I actually get on. That way he's not sitting at the trailer unable to breathe because I pulled a cinch too tight. I only check to make sure it is tight enough before I get on. There I'm doing the breast collar, again making sure it's in the right place before I clip it. I pet on him, and I'm going to check his feet to see if they need to be picked out. His front left did. There was some stuff in there, so I'm just going to get it out, brush it out, make sure there aren't any rocks or anything uncomfy in there. I checked his other legs and they did not need to be picked out, so I went back, put my hoof pick up, and got his flare strip on. It was pink night, so I wore a little pink shirt and he got a pink flare strip. He was not happy about the kisses, was definitely not into it, but I pet on him and I got him his Dr. Pepper so he could have just a little sip. Don't worry, he really does not drink that much. He mostly just licks it, and of course Chester hates it. So Dakota will sit here and lick on the can all day long. There he is with his teal boots, so there's a good look at those. And again, a look at my saddle. Here he was taking kind of a little nap before our run, and then it was time to go, and something not so great happens at the very end of this run.
Arkansas, Jonesboro, Arkansas to be exact, for the youngin', Sadie Miller. It's a cowgirl that won money at the Headstalls Rookie Roundup in Fort Worth. The YouTuber, the barrel racer, off to the right. Yellers around turn 1. Around turn 2. Come on, everybody, this looks good. Put a little pep in her front. 17. Ooh, she's up.
We did place and win money there, don't worry. My plan was to go to the left when we stopped at the gate, and of course I was going to push all the way past the timer, so that's what I did, and I thought we were going to go left, so my body went left and Dakota went right, so he went back to the gate we went in, which I guess is smart. I should have been ready for it. I had lost a stirrup and it just did not end well for me, but I wish the video was longer. Of course my videographer freaked out a little bit when I fell off, but I hopped right back up and got Dakota, who of course was very confused as to what in the world I was doing, but we did end up winning money there. Whoa, kisser. Rude. Here the horses are in Idaho still. We stayed at a horse hotel, and I was able to turn them out into this nice indoor arena, and I kind of wanted them to just walk around and stretch out, but they had other plans. Obviously, they were both ready to get out and run, and Chester discovered mirrors, and then Dakota discovered mirrors, and they would not quit staring at them and messing with them, so I was worried that they were going to knock them off onto their head, but I'm pretty sure they were secured to the side of the arena. Now we are in Eagle Mountain, Utah, and I was not actually signed up for this pro rodeo, but I ended up being in the area, and someone that was signed up for the perf scratched. So that meant that there was an open spot, so I walked up to the secretary and asked to be put in as the walk-up replacement, and I was accepted. So this was a little bonus practice run for us before we get to more of the bigger rodeos here this summer. So again, tacking him up just like I always do. And it's pretty hot in Utah, so I was glad that the perf did not start till 8 p.m. because then it cooled off really good for us. But in Utah during the day, it gets very hot. Now I'm going to make sure that breast collar is right. I do love that this breast collar matches my saddle. I might get one with stars sometime, or maybe even a little bit of bling. So look out for that. I pet him, check his feet again, so I'm going to pick him out, but it was all sand that was in there. You can tell that it was just all loose and going to fall out. So I didn't worry too much about it. Just check to make sure there weren't any rocks or any foreign objects in his feet, so that's why I did that. And the lighting was really good here. So there's a look at my saddle and my fender and my swells. I need to clean that star, I know. There were some of the mountains there, and then I put on my Aztec boots. For this run tonight, I think the yellow, orange, red, blue kind of colors all look really nice on him. So I got those front boots on and my bell boots. So I moved on to get the back boots as well. And of course his tail was getting all up in the way. I don't know why I didn't just tie it. So I ended up just struggling with it, of course, but that's pretty usual when you put on back boots. And now I'm gonna get his flare strip on. We're gonna do a turquoise flare strip to match the blue on those boots. So I like kind of for all the colors to match together. I don't know, I think it looks good. So this was not my best flare strip placement. I actually kind of scrunched it up a little bit, but I tried to pat it out and get it in the right spot. And then Dakota tried to escape, of course, before he got his sip of Dr. Peppy. And this is like his favorite thing ever. He can be in like a dead sleep and you crack a can and he is up. So now it's time for our run. He was so excited because when you walk up, you're at the very end of the performance. So he had heard everything and seen everybody else run. So he was super juiced up, but he ended up walking in really nice for me. And there's a little bit of heartbreak in this run, okay? We had the beautiful angle to the first and we barely got that first barrel, and then I was just kind of riding for practice after. And so we had a smoking second barrel and a pretty nice third. Not perfect, but really nice. He ran super fast, and had we not hit that barrel, we would have placed pretty high. I'm thinking third or fourth. But thank you guys so much for watching this video.